you have seen her face, a perfect neck, a serene gaze, a crown unlike any other. She is one of the most recognized faces in all of human history, staring out from a museum in Berlin, painted more than 3,300 years ago. And yet, we do not know how she died. We do not know where she is buried. We do not even know for certain who her parents were. She was the most powerful woman in the ancient world, a queen who may have become a king, and then, at the height of her power, she simply disappeared from history. Her name was Nefertiti. The beautiful one has come, and then she was gone. Nefertiti was born around 1370 BC, into an Egypt at the very peak of its power. Her origins are a mystery. She may have been the daughter of a powerful courtier named Ai, a man who would one day sit on the throne of Egypt himself. Others believed she was a foreign princess sent from a distant kingdom to seal an alliance. The truth is lost. What we know is that her name meant the beautiful one has come, and by her early teens she had married the heir to the most powerful empire on earth. His name was Amenhotep, the fourth of that name. When his father died, the young couple inherited a kingdom of gold, of towering temples, and of 1,000 gods. No one could have imagined what they were about to do to it. The young pharaoh had a vision. He would tear down the old world. For 1,000 years, Egypt had worshipped hundreds of gods: Amun, Osiris, Isis, Ra. Their temples were the richest institutions in the land, their priests almost as powerful as the king himself. Amenhotep swept it all away. There would be only one god now, the Aten, the disk of the sun. He changed his own name to Akhenaten, he who serves the Aten. He closed the ancient temples. He ordered the names of the old gods chiseled off the monuments. It was, perhaps, the first attempt at a single god in all of recorded history. And in every image of this new faith at his side stood Nefertiti, not behind him, beside him, her hand raised in worship of the sun. They would not rule from the old capital, surrounded by furious priests. In the 5th year of his reign, Akhenaten led his court out into the empty desert, to a stretch of barren land halfway between Thebes and Memphis. There, on virgin ground that belonged to no god but the Aten, they built a city out of nothing. Akhenaten, the horizon of the Aten. Palaces, temples open to the sky, gardens and villas rose from the sand in only a handful of years, and the art changed with the religion. Gone were the stiff, timeless figures of old Egypt. Now the royal family was shown as human. Akhenaten and Nefertiti embracing their daughters, kissing them, holding them beneath the rays of the sun. 6 daughters. No image from the ancient world is quite so tender, and no queen had ever been shown with such power. Nefertiti was no ordinary queen. On the walls of her own temple, she was shown doing something no Egyptian woman had ever been shown doing before, striking down enemies with a raised mace in the pose of a conquering pharaoh. She wore the crowns of a king. She rode in her own chariot. In some carvings, she appears even larger than Akhenaten himself. Some scholars believe that as the pharaoh withdrew deeper into his religion, it was Nefertiti who truly ran the kingdom. For a decade, they reigned together over their strange, sunlit city. 6 daughters played in the palace gardens. The tribute of an empire flowed into Akhenaten. It was the height of her power, and it was almost over. In the 12th year of the reign, there was a great celebration. Ambassadors came from across the known world, bearing gold and slaves and exotic animals, bowing before Akhenaten, Nefertiti, and their 6 daughters. It is the last time we ever see the family whole. After that, the record goes dark. One of the daughters dies, then another, and then Nefertiti herself, the most depicted queen in all of Egyptian history, simply vanishes from the monuments. No tomb, no burial record, no account of her death. For centuries, historians assumed she had died or fallen from favor, cast aside for a younger wife. But some began to suspect that something far stranger had happened, that Nefertiti had not fallen at all, that she had risen higher than any woman before her. Around the very time Nefertiti disappears, a new figure rises on the throne of Egypt, a co-ruler beside Akhenaten, using a king's titles, Neferuaten. And that name contains Nefertiti's own. Many Egyptologists now believe that Nefertiti did not die at all. She became pharaoh. When Akhenaten died, she may have ruled Egypt alone as a king in her own right, taking a throne name to hide the fact that a woman now sat on it. If they are right, she joined the tiny handful of women who ever ruled Egypt as a living god. But her reign, if it happened, was brief. The great experiment was collapsing. The people wanted their old gods back, and waiting in the shadows was a small boy, her own son-in-law, married to one of her daughters, a child named Tutankhaten, who would soon change his name to Tutankhamun, abandon the city of the sun, and erase the heretics from history. Akhenaten was abandoned. The temples of the Aten were torn down, their stones carried away. Akhenaten and Nefertiti were struck from the official record, remembered only as the enemy and that criminal. Their sunlit city sank back into the sand, and Nefertiti's body was never found. To this day, no one knows where the most beautiful queen of Egypt was laid to rest. Archaeologists still search, scanning the walls of Tutankhamun's tomb for hidden chambers, testing nameless mummies for her bones. Nothing is certain. But in 1912, in the ruins of a sculptor's workshop in the buried city, a German team found something extraordinary: a painted limestone bust, perfect after 33 centuries. Her face, the one we know. She was erased by her enemies, buried by the desert, lost to time. And yet, 3,000 years later, she is more famous than the kings who tried to forget her, the queen who vanished, but was never truly gone.